Hello there, squirrel. Hello, squirrel. You hear the garbage truck taking care of business early morning, about 7:50 a.m. on Sunday, April 24th, 2022, here on Market Street in Celebration, Florida, where they are setting up for their weekly, this happens every Sunday, and as a recording of this, it is a Sunday, the farmer's market. Welcome, everyone. Adam the Woo here. Kind of sort of wearing an appropriate t-shirt because I love history, especially Disney history. I've been to Marceline and Main Street, USA, which was based on Walt's hometown in Marceline, Missouri. Also is very similar to Market Street here in Celebration, Florida. So I'm gonna get in my car, drive over to the Contemporary for a retro look. 50 years of Walt Disney World. Not happening in the parks, happening in the resorts. In fact, I don't even think it's technically affiliated with the Disney parks in any way. I think it's like an independent type of thing. I've never been to it, so I don't know what to expect. But I'm inviting you to join me. Shall you? And to be a little more specific, the technical name of this event is RetroMagic, a 50th celebration. And without a doubt, first order of business, well, after I go to registration, or maybe even before, is to find some coffee. Need a little caffeine this morning. Going underneath the water bridge. I'm also kind of curious if I'm going to be allowed to park here. I have my ticket to the event. I'll just see if they'll let me park at the Contemporary. I don't want to have to go back all the way over to TTC. And my assumption was correct. The answer is yes. Was allowed to park here. This is an appropriate place to have this because this is an opening day resort. Back in 71, 50 years ago. 50th anniversary blend, don't mind if I do. And I like how the warmth is absorbed these kind of cushiony styrofoam cups. And I curbed my temptation not going in on any nice delicious treats here at the Contempo. All right, gotta move, I got 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes. Can you picture Danny Torrance right here? Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance. Went up to the registration desk and they gave me this little, it's almost like a wristband, I guess. Well, it is a wristband. I don't know if it's like a wristband, but they also gave me, including the wristband, but they have the date on it. This is just a one-day only type of event. Let me slide that down. You can kind of see, you got Main Street, USA there, you got the cinema, you got Spaceship Earth. Well, I'm curious what's inside this now. What's inside this? They're making an announcement. They're saying, find a seat and check out the old-timey orange bird over here.
Historical Society, Todd McCartney.
There it begins. Not really a lot of seating left.
We did it! Survived the pandemic and we're here together finally.
And real quick, like, let me just point out some of the amazing stuff that's over here.
Now, I'm not sure if everybody has a pen. Maybe.
I don't have fun.
Oh, okay. So
And I love, there's a WDW certificate there. There's a jigsaw puzzle. Look at this, even some MGM stuff, like 50s prime time right there. And a Disney I need this. I need that.
Hailing the local boy, Mr. How.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play it. Even some good Epcot stuff over here. Future World. World Showcase.
Just got such a great day in store. I can't wait.
And I'm utilizing this time because they turned the music off, so this gives me a chance to really focus on this stuff without the music kind of blaring while they're doing the stuff on stage at this time. Some of these items I do own.
The promotion for it was the movie 65.
Some of these items I do own. For example, a lot of the Orange Bird stuff down here, a lot of those Figment plushes I have. Look at this Kitchen Cabaret throwback. Oh my goodness, this stuff is great. They're also saying that this is the biggest event yet, usually about 200 people. This one's already got 400 people registered, so it's getting bigger and bigger. Look at that, 1971. That plate, commemorative plate right there is awesome.
15 gallons of coffee already.
Oh,
We're over budget.
wow.
It's
That's it.
I mean, I just love all this retro goodness. Top of the world menu right there. 15 years. Take a look at this. In fact, they're talking about what I'm over here right now.
We also have some special guests here. We have some surprises for you in store.
I like surprises.
A lot of fun things.
But take a look at this. This is from south of the border. Look at this. Pedro says, ask about your 2 free tickets to Disney World or Epcot. That is amazing. I love south of the border, and I love Disney World. I did not realize they did a cross-promotion back in the day. Oh, man. They start coming out with merchandise of some of this. In fact, I think Starbucks has a mug with that. I'm going to get over to the interviews and all that a little bit later. There's a few guests that are here that I really want to hear what they have to say.
Who comes to this thing? And I try to explain to them, well, there are people who, at some point in the 70s, 80s, 90s, the parks and the work that you've done, whether it's the food that you fed them or the hotels that you ran or the theme parks that you operated, had an indelible impact on them. It connected them in some way. For a lot of us, it's memories with family. I know for those of you who listen to the podcast, and I know there's a bunch of you who don't, who come because of the website. The only time I got on an airplane and went away on vacation with my parents during the time I was a kid. It was the one trip we ever took. We always went to the Jersey Shore otherwise. And so there are spots in Epcot and Disney and Magic Kingdom. Not so much Disney Springs anymore. There's like one spot I remember getting whacked upside the head by my dad at Disney Springs. Because it was the Lake Buena Vista Village and we were going to dinner at Empress Lily. And I said the word sucks. Don't say sucks. But there are just spots where I stop. And my dad, who's been gone for 17 years, is back again.
Now, what he's saying on stage is exactly why I love the parks, because a lot of it is nostalgia.
Excited to bring some of their stories to you today.
And I've got a little... If you visit the Lake Buena Vista Village,
my gosh, look at
the very
this.
top case, you're going to see a Mickey and Minnie doll.
Catastrophe Canyon.
My grandparents came down
Oh
here
my
in
gosh, I missed
1972. It's their fault.
Catastrophe Canyon.
So
He's talking about this Mickey doll right now.
So that was the very first souvenir they ever bought back for me before I ever visited. They're not with us anymore, but I bought that so you guys can see it today.
So the guy on stage is talking about this doll. Says that was the first souvenir his parents ever got him.
For you guys, what do you remember? No, I just liked a cup back there. I sent a picture to my mom. I go, remember this? We had this at the house. I don't know who brought that cup, but it's super cool looking.
Except we had a crew here yesterday. I do want to, if you all look directly to the back of the room, she's going to want to hide under the table, but at the little laptop there is our Disney representative, Vanessa. And a little wave. And she took what was a nightmare to plan and made it sane for us and actually made it happen today. So we appreciate that a great deal.
Oh wow, is this from the Swan boats, the original Swan boats?
And a Handwich.
No way. This is from the Swan boats.
The Lake Buena Vista Village area is the orange bird. Some of you got your picture with the orange bird this morning back there.
Thank you very much for coming, everybody. Here we go, RetroMagic 50.
So this is a proposal for a residential community at Walt Disney World for celebration very early on, and it's got concept art and a large collection of memos about what this community could be, and it's in a binder, and it's a really interesting early look at ideas of what Disney World could be besides just a theme park.
Can we make anything out of it?
It's hard to see up here, but if you look at it in person, you can make out.
This is my absolute. I said you are coming down with this.
This is the hardest to bring down here, and I actually had to check this in my suitcase, so I think it's awesome. But like Todd will owe me money for it. But this is Harper Goff's personal album. This is great. This is from 1981. This is an operating guide for the monorail system for Mark Force. It's just great if you love monorails. It's just fun to look at.
If you don't like monorails, you should be asleep.
Tell us a little bit about the development of the Handwich here from your end.
Yes. Well, before that, so I returned from Tokyo.
I'm a little too excited to try this Handwich.
The Handwich
Dick
wagon is here.
told me when we were talking with Ray Watson, who was the chairman of the board at the time, in Tokyo, manufacturer ice cream cones.
Look at Minnie right there. Minnie's with two chefs holding two handwiches.
We eventually relocated to Paris.
Although we focus on Walt Disney World here, I will mention, because people will meet you afterwards and will want to probably talk to Euro Disney.
The reply was, well, we're going to do 1900, 1910, you know, the first half of the 20th century. And Michael says, nothing good happened in the first half.
That was rare that they would have all the characters. That was probably a promotional ride that they did at the time.
And the boat that you received was Snow White, I believe, right? That was the boat that you
It's
were-
the actual Snow White, which is one of the, they had originally 12 boats. I've had the boat in mothball for the last couple of years. Hurricanes come in, and so I have to make arrangements to keep her covered up, keep her protected. I keep the swan inside that
Did
container.
you leave Jim?
72.
72, but his design was then picked up and modified and became one of the most, I think, iconic pieces of design in the 1970s in both pop culture and car culture. So Norm is the reason that Smokey and the Bandit ended up being, I think, as popular as it was. If you look at his desk, there's a lot of stuff going on there. And all of this stuff is going to come into play with the work that he did. So we're going to go forward, but take a minute and look at it, because you're going to recognize all these things.
Pretty incredible. He designed the pavilion logos for Epcot Center.
I think that at one point, because Spaceship Earth was such an iconic building, that there was some thought that maybe they didn't need a logo. Vision into the horizon.
Yeah. Now here's the one that I think we're going to bust a myth today, because I think everybody
Mythbusters.
assumed this was a camera iris because of Kodak, but in fact,
this is probably in retrospect, was probably the most difficult and probably the least successful of all of those, because it was meant to be a vortex. It was supposed to look like it was spinning into where
this version of the logo, and Card Walker not being a humongous fan of it.
Yeah, the particular.
It turned into the logo that we're all familiar with. But what I didn't realize is that there was a reason behind all of the rings.
Yeah, when I designed it, then I came up with the idea of the 5 rings representing 5 different things that come together and form the Epcot Center. Some signage and directional signage and some just graphic elements, but none
It's
of
definitely got to be the spires on the fountain.
well, how about a fountain? Because there was a fountain.
That's awesome.
It has to be more than a fountain. You have to do something with the fountain. So I came up with the idea. At the original one, it had 9 pylons, and they were going to be crystal glass. And each, those 9, or 8 of them represented the opening day pavilions, and the single one in the middle of the Epcot Center one. But that hasn't turned out that the glass was too expensive, also too heavy, and it was just way too expensive to do so. And I sort of boiled it down to the 3 remaining and changed it to acrylic, which look a lot like glass. And they bought off on that, and it sort of became the icon at the big entrance. And I was told that it's at one point that it might have been the most photographed place in all of Epcot, because everybody needed a picture of his head. There's pixie dust and stars, and if you see there's one single 4-pointed star, that was sort of my homage to the old red logo, which had the 4-pointed star in the middle. It since has changed. They've changed the red logo.
Norm's logo is being brought back with new ones for the new pavilions. And in fact, yesterday, 2 days ago, they opened up the Connections Cafe at Epcot, and his logo is all over the place in there, embedded in glass and in the walls. So it's like the earth is healing, things are going back. And even the fountain is back. So it took, 40 some odd years, but it all came around again.
It's just the thing that's old becomes new again.
Oh, this is legendary Bob Gurr. You're giving another round of applause. As long as it has. Is there one attraction that you're like, this is never going to make it, and it has?
Well, here's a curious thing. As we were trying to get Disneyland open and then trying to do something for 56, I don't have any recollection that this thing would ever last. Underneath the desk, in the next room, a guy drilled a hole in the wall, and he had a tube, and he'd get talcum powder, and it would blow up on the guy underneath the desk. The guy didn't notice it. He gets up to go to a meeting. Yeah, I mean,
what's the top speed you've driven this monorail on here?
43.
Is that through the Contemporary?
I drove it through. 43.
Straight through.
Twice. You know how small the opening the train goes through, 43 miles an hour.
I'd like to present you with your very own Disney Ambassador alumni name tag.
And what he wanted to do here in Central Florida. We could test merchandise. We could give people the full scoop of what was going to happen.
Because when they came into the preview center, which is the door, you can't see it because we're blocking it, but we were to know who they were by their photos and know all about them. The history of the company was fascinating. Most of us had, well, all of us, all the 14 Disney girls had not been to Disneyland, so we really had no idea what we were talking about. I want to go get you a picture of the Contemporary. We got to get out. And I would be back from traveling. My job was to market, to go all over the East Coast and tell people about Walt Disney World. So we took this on the sly. I ran out and he took the photos.
He'd say, go get that red-headed kid, that Tom kid that we're using in this shot, and the one on the right-hand side is one of those things. That's a 1955. It's before Tom Sawyer's Island. When I'm holding those two big bullfrogs, Star Jets and Space Mountain.
But you could get a ham and cheese or tuna sandwich or potato chips at that little tent there. So that was I might get an answer to this question. This is the inaugural book for Epcot Center. And for nerds like us, inside, there's a photograph of the United Kingdom Pavilion. And on the roof, this comes up on Twitter from time to time, I'm going to zoom in, is written, Boo Ivy is a mama's boy.
Slide. The epitome of the 80s is right there. I mean, it's just...
The dad with the video camera, the knee-high socks, the jams. It's all happening right there.
That might be
How did no one cosplay as this day?
To do that. And that's why I enjoy doing these programs with you guys.
Well, we appreciate it.
Now the line to get food is pretty lengthy. Very popular. Look over here, there's no one at the dessert table yet, so I can show the cake before it gets cut there. It's a cake here modeled after the 15-year anniversary of WDW. It's a vanilla cake with buttercream filling. I love those little delicious cookies that are here too. Oh, look at this. They have the anniversary from '96. I have a photo somewhere of me in front of that. The castle, the cake castle. And it looks like they have an assortment of different cakes. So they have the 15 back there. Here's the Tencennial, the 10th. Lots of toppings, lots of accessories. I went with the Handwich taco style. I kind of went overboard on the sour cream, but I went with the taco style with the taco meat down in there. I also went with the tuna, like a tuna fish, tuna salad, that's what it is. And also they had your build your own Cobb salad. Went with that and went with these kettle chips as well. They said each person gets 2. They said not to go with more than 2, simply because they have allotted for the entire crowd, 2.5 per. So they said if you get 2 and you're still hungry, after the line dissipates, you can go back and check for another. But I think this will be plenty. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the water, but they also have, look at this throwback, the splashdown peach punch here. I'm not really big on peach flavored stuff, but it's kind of neat to see that too. And should also show this. It looks like someone started on that far end piece there of year number 1 cake. And it looks like that's the end of the food. Food is rolling away. Time for the panels again. They're about to begin another panel, so I'm back over here just looking at a little more. I just love all this Epcot Center stuff. Wow, look at this Main Street mascot election. Oh my gosh, this stuff is gold. Stuff really is amazing. Look at this here. Look at all these. These old flyers all through here. Single attraction ticket. Look at the speedboat going past the Contemporary. There's Donald right there. And look at all. Look at this. 80 cents for an E ticket, a D ticket, a C ticket. 25 cents for an A ticket. These are Magic Kingdom. That's not Disney. Also the Viewmasters. The Passport right there. River Country down here. Transportation ticket right down here. Another transportation ticket down here. Here's an admit one to the main gate admission, $1.75 and $2.25. Treasure Island excursion. There's the paper. Big day, begins early. World Passport. I don't know who owns all this stuff, but whoever has it has some pure gold right here. Incredible. And a lot of MK stuff, but also a lot of Epcot stuff. And over here are some slides, Frontierland Tomorrowland slides, a guided tour lanyard, merchandise catalog. This is a hot plate cutting board. Look at Mickey's eyes, right? Don't look too, see it says look, but don't look too close into this Mickey's eyes. You'll get hypnotized. You got the Epcot's Walt Disney World Epcot Center, like oversized, like coins right there.
Just call everything Walt's favorite.
And then you got these plates.
Walt's favorite this and Walt's favorite that. And your cookbook, or your history book, is a little bit responsible for that because they've integrated a lot of
and innovated with 20th century flair. But one thing there that is, I wish they would give credit to, is the green beans. They say Walt's favorite green beans. That recipe I got from Walt's granddaughter Tam, about the house cook. My mentor, Disney legend Jim Cora, we've heard his name a lot today and talked about him. He took me to lunch at our favorite Lebanese restaurant in Orange near Disneyland. He said, "What's next, kid?" I had several ideas, but I told him I had this.
He says he loves bananas and he recommends not eating it with syrup or anything, just putting some citrus butter melting over the top of it. So I don't know if you've seen Tonka Toast in a while, so if Colin can come up on stage, they're staying at the Polynesian, and we had him pick one up this morning so you can see what they're serving today. Johnny Rover's letting us those on. He doesn't have to keep it, Colin. There's Colin, don't go away. There's the Tonka Toast that they serve today at the Polynesian. For the next 40 minutes. But I did call the segment Breakfast with Johnny because stuffed French toast isn't the only thing for breakfast.
And with that, I think I'm gonna head out between the two escalators. And that's gonna do it for today from RetroMagic here at the Contemporary Resort. There goes the monorail. Pretty nice souvenir. I'll probably keep the box because this is pretty dang cool. It's two-sided. Big Thunder Mountain. Best remove them on the front, that side. And then Main Street, the omnibus. I learned so much today. There's a lot of times you hear the same stories, you know, following, you know, being into Disney for as long as I have. You hear a lot of the same stories over and over. I learned things today I had never heard before, which was awesome. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is